You are a small business owner, okay? You had one piece of content that literally popped off on TikTok, so you have been receiving an influx of orders, which you're so excited about. Congrats. And every single day, you have been diligently packaging the orders, and you walk your little beautiful behind to your local post office because you want to make sure that you deliver your packages as quickly as possible. Now imagine that not one, not two, but 4 customers write to you letting you know that they haven't yet received their orders when they literally should have. What do you do? And the beautiful cherry on top is that you have this one extra customer who is so irate. It is the most difficult customer that you have dealt with throughout your journey as a small business owner. What do you do? For background, I am Danny. I am the owner of Soft Up Shop, which is a small business that is literally steeped in all things Caribbean, mostly nod to Jamaican culture. But we sell gifts, stationery, accessories, goodies. I like to call it goodies, okay? This story is literally what happened to me last week. I want to take you through the journey, and I want to sort of talk about how do we navigate dealing with orders that don't actually make it to where they're supposed to go. How do we maintain our calm and our cool as owners? How do we try to keep our customers happy as best as possible given the circumstance? And then also, how do we sort of mitigate? How do we put checks and balances in place so that these things don't recur, hopefully? Okay, wait, but in order to set the stage, I first have to go back to last week. So let's just go back to last week, okay? Because this is how I was feeling last week, which is a lot different than this week. Okay, good morning. I just had a meeting. I am feeling good. I am feeling like myself, I think. Okay, listen. I just wanted to make sense of my thoughts further to everything that happened. Remember, last week I was invited to take part in that market. Again, it had not been planned that far in advance, literally a week's notice. Private event, it went well. But for that event, I had created some greeting cards. Can you see them? Post-production here to add some photos because the light was not hitting. Anyways, I created some greeting cards specifically for the event because the line of thinking was, oh, you know what? Valentine's Day is coming up. I should make something for Valentine's Day, just a little something small. Let me make some greeting cards now that I have my new printer. And I made the cards, had a few with me. And then I also posted on social media. I posted onto TikTok. Again, it was a throwaway video. I don't know why my throwaway videos always do way better than the ones where I have it scripted. I'm putting my all into it, putting my voice and what. No. The throwaway videos always do so well for me. I don't know why. It hurts my heart, actually, my ego. Anyways, throwaway video, think nothing of it. Throw the phone away. Tell me why that video started, engagement was happening. When it started to go to 5K, mind you, I am always stuck in like 300 view jail. I have some videos pop off here and there, but that video was popping off and I was like, oh shoot. And when we think about the sales funnel, that free content that I post was actually translating into or converting into sales. I was starting to get sales for the greeting cards and I was like, oh shit. So that video, lo and behold, reaches 42K on TikTok, which was amazing. And then I wasn't sure, but I was like, okay, do I need to continue putting content out there? So I make another video about the greeting cards as well. Tell me why that video hits 50K. Again, a bunch of other sales funneling through. And what is beautiful is that people go onto Soft Up Shop, they see the greeting cards, but then they also end up getting other things as well. So anyways, it was just this beautiful, happy accident. And it's so funny because greeting cards were not on my 2025 bingo card. It was not one of the products that I had anticipated that I was going to make, but it totally makes sense because we are a Soft Up Shop. We do stationery with a little Caribbean twist. And we do accessories and gifts. And so it totally made sense to have that offering. So yes, all this to say, I'm so grateful I am so grateful. I am so grateful. Every single person who has gotten one of these cards, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's just funny. It's just funny how sometimes you plan and then the universe laughs and the universe has a bigger plan for you. I don't know. Now it is definitely putting it on my radar that I need to definitely have some more greeting card offerings. So your girl is going to the drawing board and she gonna design some greeting cards, okay? What we got? We got Easter. We got Mother's Day. We got Mom's Day. Listen, all right. I still have some more cards to make, cards to mail. I have been going to the post office almost every single day because again, I am so empathetic. I want to make sure everyone gets their cards stat. Okay? So I have been walking all the way to Canada Post every single time. And I do that for my people. Anyways, I gotta do that for my people right now. Bye, gotta go. Now, the common denominator in a lot of the orders that did not get received on time was the fact that I had mailed them using standard letter mail here in Canada. And I know I should have known better and I should have tracked every single thing, which initially I was. That wasn't always the shipping option that I had. I did have the more expensive trackable shipping. However, I was getting recurring comments from folks essentially letting me know that the shipping was really expensive. And for many of the people who had found me through TikTok, thank you TikTok, you know, and they were interested in buying specifically a greeting card or an item that, you know, costs about $7 to then have to spend $10 for shipping, which was actually less than what Canada Post charges. So it still charges me a little bit more. I was trying to problem solve. I was like, okay, I get it. This economy is really, really expensive. How can I make it a little bit cheaper? Okay, how about the option of allowing people to order through letter mail? Letter mail, according to Canada Post standards, if it's local, it's 2 business days. If it is within the province of Ontario, which is where I reside, then it was 3 business days. And then if it's national, it's 4 business days. Cool. Those are the standards that they have posted. And so in order to make shipping a little bit cheaper for people, I amended my shipping as such. Now, part of the issue for me this week was that there's a timeline. There's a clear timeline to which people are expecting to receive their goods. It's a holiday. It's an important holiday. They love these cards and they wanted to receive it in time for the holiday. Totally makes sense. Again, even if I factor in a buffer for the expected timelines as per the postal standards, things were not arriving, period. It's not like they were arriving late. They were not arriving, period. And I'm talking about things that I had mailed, let's say February the 3rd, the 4th, that still hadn't been received by February the 11th, 12th, 13th. It was actually quite ridiculous. The first thing I gotta say is every time I received one of those emails, I had to remember to take a deep breath. Because I really needed to maintain my calm, maintain my professionalism, and to be able to empathize with how they're feeling, right? They just dropped all this money on a card that is supposed to be unique. They planned accordingly in advance. They are expecting to receive their goods in advance, you know. Valentine's Day is strolling around and they are like, girl, where's my card? Where's my card? So I think having that empathy, trying to remain calm. So what I ended up doing was any such message that I received, being prompt to acknowledge. I would immediately acknowledge their concern. I would go through their orders, confirm when I had shipped the item, and again, respond with empathy because I completely understand where they're coming from. In order to problem solve, I try to gather as much information as possible while remaining calm. So verifying when in fact I had mailed the item and verifying their mailing address to ensure that we had correctly captured it. Alright, y'all, my camera just died. Obviously, I am using my trusty phone, which will still do the job. We are going to persevere despite any obstacles, okay? We're gonna figure it out. Okay, so what I ended up doing was ultimately, it made the most sense to me to reship the packages. Yes, it's money out of my pocket, but ultimately I'm still at the point where I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to create brand visibility, and I want people to have a great experience with Sauce Up Shop. I really want them to feel like it's a brand that they can trust. And despite the mishap, I think the way that I come back from the mishap ultimately says a lot about the brand. So I just literally remailed everything, except this time around, I remailed everything with tracking. So it was a lot more money out of pocket in shipping and then in product as well. But in my eyes, it was still worth it. I think ultimately trying to come up with a solution that works for the both of you, right? Maybe, for example, in some circumstances, the customer would have wanted a refund. That didn't happen in my circumstance, but there was an instance, like I told you, where I did offer it. Essentially, a customer had ordered multiple greeting cards and I had shipped them out promptly. Like, I think I mailed it out. Let's say the order was received on February the 4th and I mailed it out on the 5th, okay? And, you know, it had been like February the 12th and she still had not received her package. And so she circles back to me. And mind you, y'all know, some of y'all know that I am nocturnal. I work throughout the night. Okay, but I need to be going to bed. And so it was already like 1 o'clock in the morning. My partner's like, girl, you better go to sleep because you got to be back up at 6 for the kids. I said, yes, I will. However, this customer had just contacted me and let me know that she hadn't received her package. I think the part that like choked me up was when she stated that, you know what, she took lots of pride in wanting to support a Black-owned business, but this was going to be her last time supporting Black-owned businesses. And when someone says something like that to you, that feels absolutely heavy. I felt like really, really, really sad and frustrated, especially since I knew that on my end I was going to Canada Post literally every single day. It was actually it was too much for me. It was actually too much, but literally every single day for the last 2 weeks I've been running to Canada Post. So for her to say that created a lot of distrust in Black businesses overall, it really, really saddened me. And so when I tell you I spent at least an hour going back and forth with this customer, I offered to reship everything. Again, as I said, anybody who hadn't received their orders at that point, I was just, no questions asked. I verify your address and I was reshipping you an order, and I was making sure that it was expedited so that it was going to be received on time, right? So the same was going to apply for this customer as well. I offered that option. And she kept going back and forth about how I had created all this distrust and just like a lot of questions about my process and why it hadn't been received and how disappointed she was. And she had hoped to receive it well in advance so she could send it to her friends, which is completely fair. But it didn't matter what I said. This person was so upset. I offered, this was an instance where I offered a refund. I said, listen, if I can't send you a new package, I completely understand the frustration, and especially since you did plan in advance. And unfortunately, this is what has occurred. But if you don't want me to send you a new one, by all means, I can send you a refund. I completely understand the frustration. Conversation continued for probably another 40 minutes thereafter of back and forth. And I was really trying my best to maintain my cool, maintain my calm, but it was definitely a lot, because she kept also saying that she didn't want me to be out of pocket as a small business owner. And I think ultimately the way the conversation ended was I reiterated for the last time that I was going to ship out her package in the morning, I was going to do expedited mail. Hopefully the original package would reveal itself and come to her. But ultimately I was going to send it. Thank you so much. Again, I apologize for that. Good night. And that was it. Notes from post-production, baddie. Hey. Okay, I just wanted to add in this bit about setting boundaries and how important it is to set boundaries, because you know what? Sometimes not all customers are worth keeping. And so if you have a customer that is really rude or unreasonable or harassing you, just verbally abusive, I think it's also okay to say no, set boundaries as well. We're here carving the businesses of our dreams, right? And again, remember, not everyone is for you. You're not going to be for everyone. So, just because you are a business owner doesn't mean that you have to accept everything and that the customer is always right. I think it's important for your customers to feel heard, but it's important to figure out how you want to handle the situations as well. Okay, back to the video. Okay, that was where I just had to end because it was too much back and forth for, like I said, at least an hour at 1:00 in the morning. It was a lot. It was very intense. And that night I cried. The next day I cried too. And I think having a good cry as a small business owner is normal, healthy. Along the way, there are going to be tears. There are going to be obstacles. I had a nice little vent session with my sister, which was really, really helpful. And I think because I had worked so hard, literally, physically, every night, even though I should have gone to bed earlier, packing orders, and then every morning walking to Canada Post, it felt like I had been doing so much. So then for something to fall out of my control, it felt really, really frustrating. But that said, you often hear the conversation being, it's important to fail fast. It's important to fail fast so that you can get better, you can improve your products, you can improve your processes, you can strengthen your business. And once the tears dried, that's what I sort of remembered, right? I was like, okay, Danielle, you know what? The lesson here was never to offer the local shipping or that there are different options and the customer can choose the options. However, that you're a lot more clear in your language as to A, processing timeframes, and B, that there is no shipping for that option if people want it, because I do think there's still people who want that option. I mean, ultimately, the problem with all of these instances, it really was the postal service. It really was that the postal service was not delivering things on time. In fact, I had a lot of customers who actually subsequently circled back to me and let me know that they received not only the expedited order, but also the original order. In some cases, the original order arrived in just tattered or a little bit, not damaged completely, but it just arrived in a certain state that they were sort of perplexed by. But almost all of the customers have circled back to me to let me know that they had received the expedited and the original on the same day at the same time. So I don't know what was happening there, but it definitely made me lose a lot of trust in the postal service. But that said, again, putting the mirror onto myself as to how I can do better and how I can ensure that I am as transparent as possible when I'm communicating with my customers. In several of the instances of customers who received delayed orders, they were so empathetic as well. And many of them had responded back to me that they couldn't wait to support my business again, and that they appreciated my creativity and what I'm doing with the business. So it was really, really lovely that the empathy that I had towards them was also mirrored in their response to me. That made me feel really, really good. And I think was really, really helpful when I was filled with so much doubt. And I think to recap, ultimately, it's about responding quickly, like not shying away from the discomfort because it's ultimately an uncomfortable circumstance. I think it's about trying to make sure you've dotted all your I's, crossed all your T's. So try to problem solve and figure out where the issue sort of lies and how can you navigate it. And ultimately, how do you prevent it from happening next time? What are things that you can do differently? How do you learn from this instance so that it's not something that will occur again, and ensure that ultimately the customers are happy, you as a business owner are also happy. Oh, sorry, I'm losing all my light. If any of you have ever dealt with any circumstances such as this, please let me know in the chat. Y'all tell me about the customers that some of y'all have dealt with. How did you navigate it? Are you still trying to figure out how to navigate these such circumstances? And I don't know, I guess what did you appreciate about that experience? How has it allowed you to grow as a small business owner? I think growth is so important, and I think it's so important that we continue to develop as we take on these new roles and as we figure out how to grow our businesses to the big businesses that we dream of, you know? Anyways, thank you so much. Sorry guys, I have lost my light. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Technical difficulties, postal delays and all. I really appreciate y'all for being here. I will see y'all at the next one. Bye.